Okay, man.
Does involve perseverance, it involves dedication, it involves tenacity, it involves grit, heart, blood, sweat, tears. It encompasses so many things, but those are a few that I choose, and those are the things that I use to keep me going.
The preparation, the focus, the drive. I'm even going to say it, the Mamba mentality. You have to have that Mamba mentality, that drive set that you're going. The teacher will appear when the student is ready. Yeah, we always want to be the teacher. We want to teach, but we want to tell. We want to let people know what we have. But sometimes you got to be the student. Having a champion's mindset means to me having a mindset to prepare, to perform, and to win. And winning includes overcoming adversity. At an early age, I knew what being a champion probably could feel like. But I would almost think anybody that has a mind of a champion, it don't matter to them. Just being able to say you was a champion, other champions gonna respect that. You're going to get knocked down, like anything. You just have to get back up. You can't stay there. It's okay to feel whatever you feel when you get knocked down, but the most important thing is to learn from it and learn through it. Not giving up when things get hard and continuing to just move forward, even when you don't feel like moving forward. Just giving it one more shot and don't quit. I failed more than people have tried. I kind of feel like you had to be somewhat of a narcissist, as they say, to be a professional athlete, man. Like, I got to believe in myself. I got to come up there and be like, I'm going to knock the crap out of this, and you ain't going to beat me. If you want to be a champion, some type of sacrifice is going to have to be made. The mind and the heart combined. I think it's an unyielding spirit of determination, intense dedication, extreme preparation, because that's what gives you the confidence. That spirit that you play with, regardless whether or not you're going to come out on top or lose. I didn't have that mindset. I didn't have it, but I needed to find it. And you know what? I found it in the dark, in my room, by myself. It starts with you, that champion mindset. I ask you for some basic things, and one of the things that you really don't need any talent to do is to hustle. And if you're out in that field, and I believe in you, and you believe you're a ball player or an athlete, you have to hustle. It's okay to stand up for what you believe in. You don't have to fit in. Standing up for what you really believe in 100%. When you go home, tell them of us. And tell them for our tomorrows we gave today. For your tomorrows we gave today. And that's the message that is given out. And you'd be amazed what's waiting for you at the other side of that self-doubt, of that obstacle, of that heartache, of that pain. It's a glorious thing to be an overachiever in life.
What's up, family?
What's up? Good evening, everyone.
Hey there.
How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
Excellent.
The gang's all here. Scott said he's running a little late, but he's gonna be on too.
It is so nice to see you all.
Likewise. I want to know what everybody thought about the single.
Loved it.
I think you was the first one to hear it besides me.
How do I get this thing to leave the mic on?
Amazing.
What you think, E? You thought it was amazing?
Amazing.
So,
Yes, and necessary.
There we go. Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Now I can hear. Okay, I got you.
very, very. Keith, did you hear the single?
Huh?
Did you hear the song?
I missed the song.
Well, it's a motivational single, but it's everywhere. It's on iTunes. If you got Spotify, it's on Tidal. It's on Amazon. I'm finna
Okay.
play it, and then we're gonna get started. How y'all
Okay.
think about that? I'm gonna run it back.
Sounds good.
It does involve
Can everybody hear?
perseverance. It involves dedication. It
Yeah.
involves tenacity. It involves grit, heart, blood, sweat, tears. It encompasses so many things, but those are a few that I choose, and those are the things that I use to keep me going.
The preparation, the focus, the drive. I'm even going to say it, the Mamba mentality. You have to have that Mamba mentality, that drive set, that you're going.
The teacher will appear when the student is ready. Yeah, we always want to be the teacher. We want to teach, but we want to tell. We want to let people know what we have. But sometimes you got to be the student.
Having a champion's mindset means to me having a mindset to prepare, to perform, and to win. And winning includes overcoming adversity.
At an early age, I knew what being a champion probably could feel like. But I would almost think anybody that has a mind of a champion, it don't matter the level. Just being able to say you was a champion.
Yeah.
Champions will respect that.
Want to get knocked down, like anything. You just have to get back up. Can't stay there. It's okay to feel whatever you feel when you get knocked down, but the most important thing is to learn from it and learn through it.
Not giving up when things get hard and continuing to just move forward, even when you don't feel like moving forward. Just giving it one more shot and don't quit. I failed more than people have tried.
I kind of feel like you have to be somewhat of a narcissist, as they say, to be a professional athlete, man. Like, I got to believe in myself. I got to come up there and be like, I'm going to knock the crap out of this, and you ain't going to beat me. If you want to be a champion, some type of sacrifice is going to have to be made.
The mind and the heart combined. I think it's an unyielding spirit of determination, intense dedication, extreme preparation, because that's what gives you the confidence. That spirit that you play with regardless whether or not you're going to come out on top or lose.
I didn't have that mindset. I didn't have it, but I needed to find it. And you know what? I found it in the dark, in my room, by myself. It starts with you, that champion's mindset.
I ask you for some basic things, and one of those things that you really don't need any talent to do is to hustle. And if you're out in that field, and I believe in you, and you believe you're a ball player or an athlete, you have to hustle.
It's okay to stand up for what you believe in. You don't have to fit in. Standing up for what you really believe in, 100%.
When you go home, tell them of us, and tell them for our tomorrows we gave today, for your tomorrows we gave today, and that's the message that is given out.
And you'd be amazed what's waiting for you at the other side of that self-doubt, of that obstacle, of that heartache, of that pain. It's a glorious thing to be an overachiever in life.
Now everybody's heard it. What do y'all think? Welcome, Catherine.
I've been listening to it all day. I'm motivated.
Tough. Tough. I like that. I really like that.
It's been on repeat all day for me too.
Yeah, let other people listen to it at the stoplight. It was nice.
Cool.
That Mamba mindset.
That's right. Give them a reason to see why you smile. So you're smiling, right?
Right. All right, we're gonna jump into it. First off, thank y'all, everybody who showed up. Number one, thank you to all my co-authors. The Champion's Mindset. Like, I got that idea. I was literally driving. I don't know where I was driving to. Y'all know I go a lot of places. But I was like, yo, I want to put together a project to celebrate. There goes Scott. To celebrate, my 19 years of being an entrepreneur. I don't want to go into my whole story, but I want to tell y'all, if you don't know, I used to work at Walmart during the day, Blockbuster at night. I used to work 16, 17 hours a day. And literally, Always had a dream to be an entrepreneur and start my business online. Thank y'all for being here. 19 years has been a struggle. Had a lot of failures. I shared one of my biggest failures online today. I lost $50,000 on one event. I did a celebrity basketball game and lost 50 grand. What's up, Scott?
Hey, Kelley, how you doing?
Good, man. Glad for you to be here, man.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being a part of the project. Have you listened to the single? You missed it. We just played it twice, but
I'm sorry, I'm kind of doing double duty here. I'm out in Las Vegas for Summer League and the National Basketball Retired Players Association stuff. So I rushed back for the gym to join you guys on the live.
appreciate it, man. It is a pleasure, man, to have you. You know, it's a dream come true for me being a Chicago Bulls fan.
I remember you saying you was a Bulls fan back in the day.
Cool. So we won't keep you long. I'm gonna have you go first, but I want you to share something about that champion's mindset and some of the things you picked up from playing with Michael Jordan. And then I got one LeBron and Jordan question.
Okay, well, thank you for letting me share about the mindset of being a champion. As you mentioned, I was probably around one of the, if not the greatest competitor of all time. And it's one thing to have your own mindset. You kind of learn what makes you successful, what makes you go, but also having an opportunity to watch this dude go about his craft every day was something special that I have taken not only in my basketball career, which I think prepared me as an undrafted rookie free agent, being in a situation like Summer League, like these guys, hopefuls, or of trying to get an invitation to veterans camp. I was there. I was that guy, and it was a different, it was a different league 35 years ago in the summer of 1990. I'll tell you right, we were playing in Loyola Marymount in a little hot gym, no AC, no TV. It was. I think there was more friends and family than actual fans in the arena. Like you couldn't even call it an arena; it was a stadium. But I had a dream and I had a goal, and I didn't want to lose that just because I went undrafted. Coming out of Southern California, I wanted to play in the NBA. And that was my dream. That was my shared goal with my mother, who was taken from me in college by my father. And I wanted to see that reality for the both of us. So when I didn't get drafted, I just put my head down to go and went to work. I didn't wallow in self-pity. I never thought about, I guess, the mindset of a champion is like, you can't wonder what happens if I lose? What happens if I don't achieve my goals? You have to have the mindset that I'm going to put in the dedication, the sacrifice, that I will achieve my goal. Come hell or high water, no matter what bridge I have to cross, a river I need to swim over, swim through. You just find a way to get it done. And like you said, Kelley, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And there was a lot of times where my shoulder would dislocate while we were practicing, while we were in games. And that's a different type of uncomfortable situation when you're dealing with that pain, and you got to have somebody come onto the floor, take you into a back room, and pop your shoulder back in place.
Wow.
And then continue to go out there and then throw a little ice bag on it. And then you go back out there and finish the ball game. And you don't give anybody an opportunity to say he's not able to accomplish something. And that was my mindset, that I wanted to be the hardest worker. I wanted to be the most durable. I wanted to be able to be out there no matter what uncomfortable state I was in. Tired, battered, bruised. The fact that you were in pain for having suffered the ultimate loss and having your mother murdered. Those types of things were excuses and luxuries that I did not have time to wallow in any kind of self-pity. And you figure out a way to get it done. And that's the biggest thing that I could pass on anybody watching or listening to this, is that you have the ability to train in a way your mind to overcome all obstacles, even your own body at times. You block out all the external noise. To me, that was the easiest thing. Everyone tells you, you're going to have your critics along the way that says what you can and you can't do and what your limitations are and what your capabilities aren't. That's the easy part to block out. It's sometimes having to train your own mind to not let those self-doubts creep into your own head about what it is that you are capable of doing. And you have to push through some uncomfortable situations. And I'm dealing with that right now to this day. I want to start a user-generated content business. And I still struggle, even being on TV, with what scripts am I going to write? How's my lighting looking? What's my background like? Rather than just jumping in there and getting started and figuring it out along the way. Trial and error is a new area for me. So I am working to work myself through that process, even today, relying on the tips that I use to make myself a 15-year NBA pro.
That's dope, man. I know the feeling. It's about being a champ. We can't stop. We constantly are working on something. I don't know about everybody else on this line, but everyone that I talk to, we all are working on something and learning something new. So share something you got from Mike, from playing with Mike and winning 3 championships with Mike.
I think it's extreme preparation. That was the biggest thing that I noticed with him. Even a guy who was maybe not when I first joined the NBA considered the best ever. And that was only because I believe that he had won the game's ultimate prize, and that was an NBA championship. But he was far and away the most popular player, basketball player, not only in the NBA, but probably on the planet. And you would never know by his work ethic and practice the way he approached drill work. And you think the guy scored 35 points in Madison Square Garden, and here we have a practice at 12 o'clock the next day, and he's going harder and longer than anybody on the floor. I thought I had a working mentality that nobody would surpass until I played alongside of Michael Jordan. Got a chance to see that day in and day out. And that's what I mean about extreme preparation. When you are so prepared, not only for what you've done physically, but mentally, for preparing for a basketball game, scouting reports, weights, fitness, extreme training and conditioning, and the scouting report, video scouting, those types of things have you ready to go out there and compete and face anything that you have not thought that may arise during the course of the game. And that was Michael Jordan. The dude played in practice like he was on a 10-day contract, like he was a two-way player, maybe probably a better way to put it in today's NBA. Wow. That he would not be outworked in any drill, whether it be 1-on-1, 2-on-2, or 5-on-5. He wanted to make sure that he was pushing himself the hardest so the rest of us could see this is how hard we have to work. We don't have to be Michael Jordan, but you have to give everything that you do that you can do in order for you to be successful. And if you're doing your job, the team's going to be successful. And that's the way that guy looked at it. So it was a pleasure to be around that type of competitiveness and greatness and work ethic day in and day out for 3 years.
Dope, man. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for being here. Are you open to taking some questions? If somebody got a question for you?
Oh, for sure. I got as much time as you need, Kelley.
Okay, cool. Neal raised his hand. Go ahead, Neal. You're on mute. Can you get it off mute? Nope, we can't.
Am I? You talking about me?
No.
Neal.
Oh,
Neal.
There you go.
Good now. Scott.
Yes, sir.
I want to tell you that Lisa Young is my sister-in-law. She loves you.
Get out of town.
She loves you.
I love Lisa Young. She's UNC family.
Last game at the end of the season in Boston College, Blake James, a good friend of mine, and she said, I got to get tickets so I can see my friend Scott. So you must be doing something right.
Yeah, she's Carolina family. We had an off night there, so we got together and broke bread down there in Boston. So She's always good people. In fact, we were texting the other day about doing some speaking stuff together for domestic violence victims.
She gave me a copy of your book because you're an AZ, I'm an AZ. So,
oh, okay. What'd you think? Did you get a chance to read it?
Oh, heck yeah, man. Listen, I've told your story so many times because I love Kelley Cole and whoever he represents. And obviously your book, got across. And then I'm very good friends with Bubba Cunningham, who's, the retired athletic director. And I always brag about, Kelley and Bubba should write a book. But, you did, and you're making things happen, and good for you.
Thank you, Neal.
All right, Eunice is.
I appreciate you sharing that with me. I'll tell Lisa I talked to you.
All right, Eunice, you ready? You got a question for Scott, or do you want to speak?
I have a question for Scott.
Okay.
Hello.
Scott, how are you?
Hello, Eunice.
So you shared the story about losing your mother, right?
Yes.
And that type of circumstance is dear to me. How did you, and what did you do to actually push through, those hard days, because you were in college, right? So you could have easily just let everything fall, schoolwork, everything. Clearly you kept your focus, your vision, your mission, to the forefront in your mind. And then of course, having your teammates, your coaches, to help, pour into you. But those days where you had that resentment set in, that anger towards your father, all of those negative emotions, that crept in, what did you do? How did you get through it?
Well, Eunice, you kind of nailed it. I was very fortunate during an unfortunate time in my life to have be in the right place with UNC basketball and Coach Dean Smith. He had, after decades of being the head coach there, a system or family in place that wrapped a warm blanket of support around me. And it was great. While I was, in a Dean Smith practice and having to lock in on what it was he was trying to teach, that became a 2-hour therapy session for me while I was on the floor. Being in basketball, being with my teammates that you mentioned, being around the coaching staff, the support. And he didn't take it easy on me. I mean, it wasn't like he was like, well, I could see you were up all night because you couldn't sleep because you were going through those dark times. No, it was like he treated me just like one of the other dudes. And I think that was probably the most important thing that I could see. There was no special favors. There was no taking it easy. Like, oh, you can take this practice out or sit out the second half of practice. You worked as hard as everybody else. And I appreciated the, I guess, non-special treatment that I got from him that made me understand that this is what hard work takes. This is what it takes to try to accomplish our goals as a team. And I was always about being a team guy first. Now let me also say that while I wasn't with the squad and I was back in that dormitory, depression sets in. And sometimes you think, well, maybe I'll grab one of my buddies, go get a burger and a beer, or go catch a movie or something like that, and that helps. But still, there's that time when you're back in that dormitory from 12 o'clock till the sun comes up, where you can't sleep and you're feeling depressed, that you have to work through those tough times. And I think it's not a matter of how you get through it or how long it takes to get through it. I think it's a continual process. I'm darn near 60 years old, and I still have days where I feel sorrow for not having my mom around to experience some of the things that basketball has afforded me in life, places that I've been able to go, things that I've been able to see. And I wish I would have had an opportunity to share that. I write in my book sometimes that I was envious of my teammates at the pro level that would have brothers and sisters and their moms and dads and family waiting for them after the games. We're on the road to go grab something in their hometowns, and they were proud to see them out there competing and living their dreams on that floor. And that can be difficult to tell, even though when you're at the game's greatest and you got a couple championship rings on your fingers, it's like it's still always a little bit of a hole that you have to work through. And I don't think that you ever really get through the process, even though my book is called Through the Fire. I think you always have to keep pushing through that process, even late stage in life when you have a traumatic event happen in your life.
That's great.
I hope I answered the question, Eunice, in a way that you
Yes, you
found
did. Yes, you
interesting.
did.
I get to ramble a little bit sometimes when I'm talking about it, but I always wanted to live a life that I think my mother would be happy with the child that she raised, and not the circumstance that caused me to have to talk about this. And I think that's what I try to do when I see kids, here in Vegas that want a high five or want an autograph or take a picture just because their dad said, "Hey, that guy played with Michael Jordan." I'm always happy to stop and do that and give them the time that a child that would ask me for something like that deserves.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You absolutely answered it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eunice, you got the floor. You mind sharing quickly about your
Sure.
chapter?
I guess it's apropos, right?
Yep.
But just based on right, the theme of what we're discussing here, because Scott, the story that I chose to share in this book is my personal childhood story. And watching my father die. I was 7 years old in second grade, I just started like a week into second grade. And my father battled alcoholism. And I remember like yesterday, my mother, he was away, went in rehab and then in the hospital. And the doctor said he has about 6 months to live. And he said, well, if I'm going to die, I want to be home with my family. And so they set up hospice. And I remember my mother, who's on the line, saying your dad's going to be home today when you get home from school. And so I'm that, excited little kid watching the clock, probably didn't do anything, all throughout the day because I just couldn't wait for the day to end. And he didn't make it through that night. And so, I watched him be carried out of our home, his body, and never come back. And, it tormented me through life, but I had to find a way after going through just other traumas and molestation, after he passed, uh, always wanting or feeling the need of daddy to be there to protect me. Well, guess what? Daddy wasn't coming back. And so at some point in my life, I had to pull up my big girl panties, as they say, and figure it out and find that strength deep within me to know how to protect myself and to be able to learn how to rewire the conditioning, of the traumas and just the any negative negativity, those thoughts, that negative self-talk that we have that creeps in. And so that's the story I shared. And like Scott, the youth are near and dear to me in helping them to be that auntie that I didn't have at that time. Now to help guide them, to help train them and teach them and coach them on the importance of developing yourself, your self-esteem, your self-value, self-worth early, and to be able to have that mindset, that champion's mindset to push and endure, and be able to pivot through anything in life to achieve those goals. I think you're on mute, Kelley.
My bad. Anything you're working on that you want to share, and your daytime profession, because you do a lot.
I do a lot. For the past 25 years, I've been in real estate as a broker and investor, general contractor. I have a media company, Solid Rock Media, public relations business. So I have worked with athletes in public relations. In fact, that's how I met Kelley, through one of our mutual friends and business partners, who is a retired NBA player. And so that's what I still am engaged in, during my day. And I have some other projects, some other entrepreneur projects, some children's book series that I'm working on currently, that I intend to roll out this year, and then some other projects alongside that.
Great. Thank you so much for being a part of this book. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Keith, you still in the building? Keith,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Jennings.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, brother? What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up, fam? How you doing, man?
Good, man. You mind sharing a little bit what you shared in your chapter? And once again, bro, you know how we rock, man. Thank you for
Yeah,
being a part of this project, man.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And you've been down with me from day one, helping me with my book, and even before that, just being a supporter of us. And anytime you're doing something, if I can help you out, I'm always there for you.
Appreciate
I think Scott and everybody. Shout out to everybody that has that feeling of what it's like to be a champion, and listening to Eunice and Scott speak. Dealing with personal loss, and just trying to make your dreams come true. It resonates with me because as Scott said, summer league was different when I played in it. He said, I remember him saying he was in Loyola. I think my first summer league was in Utah, and it was a challenge. And something people don't really realize when your dream is to play in the NBA, and you got to take steps to get there. It is different levels. When you hear people say it's levels to this, sometimes they might be just saying it, but I think the guys that really went through it, or the women that really went through it, understand it's certain levels to get to the top of whatever that profession may be. And, one of the things that made me realize it was because being like a two-time player of the year in college, and, we went to the NCAA tournament and we did stuff for Johnson City that hadn't been seen. So I was thinking, I'm the man. And, in college, I'm the man, and I should be able to make this jump to the NBA. But I had nobody tell me how high the level of the NBA was. So that trial and error of having to try to figure it out is what I went through, because when I didn't get drafted and I'm a rookie free agent, trying to get my first look, and the Indiana Pacers invited me in, I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to show these people. But like I said, I told this story in my book. Greg Grant was another smaller player, and I can remember being a senior, watching him play in the NBA, and I'm saying to myself, if he's in the NBA, I know I can get into the NBA, because he don't shoot it as good as me. I mean, I'm one of the all-time leaders in assists. I mean, I know if I pass across, I'm gonna have to show him. And when I went to Indiana, that's who my roommate was, Greg Grant, and he ran circles around me. And I can remember catching cramps. I mean, okay, I wasn't the most prepared. Like I said, I had a girlfriend at the time. I took her to the trial with me. I'm thinking I'm big time, can handle it. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting on the sideline catching cramps, like looking at him running up and down the floor. I mean, it's a humbling feeling to be laying on an NBA practice floor, watching guys go up and down the court, and I can't. And that was one of the main moments that made me really thank God for the blessings of giving me that. Okay, I understand. I didn't attack this the right way. So, dear Lord, if you give me another chance, I promise you I won't do it this way again. And and if I don't make it doing it the best I can, then I can accept that a little bit more. And lo and behold, the Warriors gave me an opportunity, and this time knowledge is key, because knowing what to expect as opposed to going into it not knowing what's going to happen really made a difference for me. And that was one of the main reasons that I made the Warriors, because I understood it a little bit, what was going to be happening. So the sacrifices I had to make, and I think that was one of the big words I used as far as being a part of the championship teams I was a part of, either in high school when we won championships. When you're the man and you win championships, that's a good feeling. But then when you got to sacrifice what you really like to do in order for your new team, which was in college, to be champions, was something that I understood. And once I made that sacrifice to being not the one that's going to score all the points, or not the one that's going to do the interviews afterwards, and understood that to win a championship, it's a team thing, especially in basketball. Unless you're blessed like Scott to play with Michael Jordan, who is probably one of the best ever, that can carry your team there. If you don't have that type of player, then everything else usually is like a teamwork type of thing to win a championship. And basically that was one of the main things I wanted to get across to the younger people that I talk to, the basketball brotherhood and sisterhood that I'm a part of. I always try to pay it forward as to tell these young people, if you think you're working hard, there's somebody else in another state, in another small town, that's waiting to see you. And that was basically me. And when I saw you, I was going to match my 5'7", 5'8" skills against your 6'5", 6'8", 6'9" skills. And we're going to see how it all plays out. And that's one of the things. When you don't have an advantage, how can you make the playing court even for you? And I just try to do those things, through conditioning, through the work ethic of getting my shots up, making shots. I think a lot of people confuse getting shots up and making shots. It's a difference. You can shoot 500 shots, but if you're only making 50 shots, you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So I always realize being 50%, setting goals, achieving those goals always led me to believe that I would be able to be an impact, whether I was in high school, then you go to college, and then you became a pro. And then I even played overseas. So, that sacrifice of being able to do those things is what really helped me develop a mind of a champion, so to speak.
Yeah, man, I love that. One of the things I love about your story is when you talked about after you went overseas and you were killing overseas, winning MVPs and stuff, they tried to bring you back to the NBA. And you was like, I've already done that. I really want to play. Talk about that a little bit. You didn't want to go back and play behind somebody. You wanted to play basketball because you loved it. Talk about that just a little bit.
Oh, yes. I think anybody that plays the game of basketball it just goes back to the early days when you go to the park and they're picking up teams. Only 10 people are going to play. If you don't get picked up, then now you got to sit on the side. And you better call next, just depending on what type of area you're in, because if you don't call next and then somebody else gets a game, then you might have to sit out. You might have to continue to sit out. So one of those things that I always realize that when you get that opportunity to play, like you were saying, you got to take advantage of it. And so that's just what I did. I wanted to be one of the best players on the court, if not the best player. So I just attacked it that way. I'm going to work on my game, and I'm going to continue to strive to be the best. And if I'm not the best, just being one of the best was something that I wanted to do.
That's dope, man. Appreciate you so much. Anything you working on you want to share, or anything you got coming up?
Yeah, I'm working on my basketball documentary. I know the game is built for the tall guys, but, shout out to Muggsy, Spud, Michael Adams, some of the smaller guys that inspired me. And so I would think, being able to get my story out. And my fault, to go back a little bit to what you were saying about playing, I was in an area in my career where my dream came true of playing in the NBA. But then when I was playing behind Tim Hardaway, who was an all-star, I knew playing time was going to probably be minimal at best. And so to be able to achieve that and then go overseas and play in Spain, where I went from the NBA playing maybe 14 minutes to maybe 16 minutes to now I'm playing professionally in Spain and I'm playing 35 to 40 minutes. I was that guy that was like, I want to be on the court. When I wasn't on the court, I was a cheerleader. I'm going to clap it up for my guys. I'm not hating on anybody. If you out there on the court doing your thing, yes, do your thing for us. But if you one of them ones that love being on the court, then I think at a point in your career, you're going to decide, do I want to play here and maybe not play much, or do I want to play here and get a lot of minutes? So that was the reason I stayed overseas, because I was playing at a good level and I'm playing 35 minutes a game. And, that's for me, it was the thing. I want to play. I love playing, man. To sit on the bench and watch is one thing, but to be out in the action was a whole nother thing. And so now I'm back coaching at my old high school. Just going into year number 4. We haven't had the winning season, I would hope, yet. And actually Malik Brown, who just got drafted by the Spurs, he's from my hometown. So it's good to see another young man that's from the small town of Culpeper, Virginia, getting the opportunity to make his dreams come true in the NBA. And so, just working on my documentary now, just to share my story of what I've done as a smaller player, and then, continuing to try to be the best coach and let these guys know, man, it started from here in Culpeper for me. It can do it. It can do the same thing for you, but it won't be easy. And you probably going to have to challenge yourself and work harder than you believe that you can for you to achieve some dreams to come true.
Good stuff, brother. Appreciate you so much, bro. Leo got a question.
Yo, what's up, Keith, Mr. Jennings, my guy. Hey, when you was over in France and you got that MVP, how and what were the steps that it took for you to get that? Because I know you mentor a lot of young men. If y'all don't know, I go way back with Keith, Mr. Jennings. That dude changed my life. So a shout out to him in many ways. And now become a mentor to my son, who's rising up, a rising 2027 kid, about to head out to Chicago and put in some work at a recruit look circuit. So Mister's been a huge resource for him. But I'm asking this question kind of for him because I want to show it to him where when you was over in France, you got that MVP. What did it take? What were the steps that your mindset, like you talk about that championship mindset for a small guard? That's not easy. So I just want to just straight up just ask that question.
Well, first of all, this guy Leo, man, he's definitely my man of God. It's funny how the basketball world works, because when I was playing in Golden State, my younger brother went to this junior college, and he happened to meet Leo, who played in this junior college. And the next thing you know, Leo is hanging out with us at Golden State on the NBA court, just being able to live the dream with me. So this guy, we go way back. So I appreciate this, Leo. But the thing about the MVP in France, when I first went to France, I just got released by the Denver Nuggets. I tore my ACL. It was like I tore my first ACL my rookie season with Golden State. Luckily, I fought back, got through the rehab. Coach Nelson gave me another opportunity. And then, I ended up having a nice little tenure with the Warriors. And then I ended up getting with the Denver Nuggets. And then I think it was the third preseason game, I tore my other ACL. So I missed that whole season with the Nuggets. So when I came back, when I started to get healthy, they released me. So now I'm looking for a job. So now I'm thinking, okay, what opportunity is going to present itself? And a teammate that I played with at Golden State, Josh Grant, he played for this team called Le Mans in France, and they needed a guard. So the guard that was there, he left. They brought me in. I knew I wasn't nowhere near 100%. I was about 75% just coming back from my knee surgery. But I had, as Scott said earlier, sometimes you got to play through some things. His shoulder was popped out.
Right.
I've had to help young men put their shoulder back in. It's not a good thing. I already know. So some of those things are challenging. So I get over to France, and I know my knee is not the best, but I'm playing well enough to know that, they offered me to come back the following season. And I said to myself, like, okay, I had a good 15-game run because I came towards like the middle to the end of the season. And I was saying to myself, I'm not even 100% and I'm playing well. When I go home this summer and I get to build my strength up in my leg and continue to get healthy, I am going to kill these guys when I get back. My mindset was get back healthy. And when I come back, what they just saw, it was just like when they say it was a shell of himself. What they just saw was like a shell of what I knew I could do. And when I came back that following year, it was kill mode. It was like I worked on my game. Everybody that steps in front of me, my mentality was I am going to kill them. And it just flowed like that the whole year. And then my man Keith Gatlin, we was in the running for the MVP race, and luckily at the end of the season, we pulled it out. I had a couple big games to finish it off, and receiving that award, holding that trophy up is just like one of the greatest feelings that I can recall as far as a basketball player. I mean, playing in the NBA was a dream come true. And I always encourage people to dream big dreams, little dreams. It don't matter, because when a dream comes true, it's something that is something that sits in your heart and your soul because you've worked for it. And so when I did that, and you'd be one of the best memories of that is my team celebrating that with me. I would have thought that maybe some of the guys, because if you're a pro, you playing for your contract, you're trying to do things to set yourself up. So to sacrifice that word I used earlier, what you want to do and pass the ball to me a little bit more, and that meant a lot for me. So that time is a time that I will never forget. And it was just basketball memories run deep.
Great stuff, brother.
Love it.
Good stuff. Appreciate you, bro. Hang out for a minute. Michelle, are you here? Let's see if she's still here. Are you on mute? There you go. Yep, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. Let's see.
There we go.
There you go. Welcome to the
Hey,
party.
how are you?
Great. You have one of the most unique businesses that I've ever seen and experienced. And when I thought about people bringing in this book, I wanted to have you a part of it because I feel like you're a champion of helping people. And I love that. So you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you talked about in your chapter?
Okay, so I'm definitely not a sports girl.
All good.
I love sports, but I actually take care of seniors that are 50 years and over. And excuse me, my nose is itching. Hold on.
All good.
Sorry, dog hair or something. That are 50 years and over, and they they have a 24-hour caregiver. And then what they do is they come to my community. It's an adult daycare center, and I'm located in here in Colonial Heights and Kingsport. And most of them have something going on with a diagnosis that they're not able to be by themselves 24/7. So my background is being in long-term care for 25 years, and I share a little bit in my chapter um, just about I think the struggles of coming up in the industry and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I know that in sports, that's done as well. But I think in my industry as well, caregiving is one of the hardest things that you could possibly do, like ever. And when you come to that point in your life and you actually do it, or you help someone take care of another one, it really opens your eyes wide, and you just want to give 100% in trying to help both of them. You want to help the caregiver, you want to help the person that you're taking care of. And a lot of them do have Alzheimer's and dementia. And so that is an adventure every day, every moment. There's no right or wrong. Everybody has a different diagnosis. And then some people are just lonely. They just don't want to be at home by themselves, and they just want to talk to people. And as you can see, all these people on here, we love to socialize. And I'm not really sure what else you want me to say about
No,
my
you're
business,
good.
Billy.
No, you're good. So what keeps you going on those rough days? Because I know it's not easy every day. What keeps you going? And then I'll let you.
Okay, well, the one thing I really liked what Keith said is he wanted to play. And I kind of got out of the corporate industry and went into my own business because I wanted to be one-on-one with these individuals. I wanted to take care of them. I wanted to hold their hand. I wanted to hug them, cry with them, dance with them. And that was one thing sort of that gets taken away, I think, in my business. When you're at the top, you have so much paperwork and you have so many meetings, and you have to meet with this employee or that employee, or it just kind of takes away from why I do what I do. And that is truly just to love on people and care for them, and just have the best day possible for both of them.
That's great. What's the name of your adult daycare?
It is Kingsport Adult Daycare, and I'm actually the only one that is like my kind of model. Nobody else, even in the state of Tennessee, when I did my research, has anything like I do. I kind of wanted to make it a home feel,
Yeah.
and have to where we could do different sections and different things in different places. If you're from Kingsport, you know where the plum tree is, or was. That's my building. It's been there since 1991. And I actually opened my doors in September of 24. So I'm a brand new business, a small business. So, but I truly enjoy, I think if anybody ever has a question about long-term care or just what to do, I think having somebody like me advocate for you or advocate for your loved one,
Yeah.
Is very important because a lot of people don't know where to go or what to do if they come across their mom's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia and they don't know how to help her or help the doctors or where to go in our area.
Yeah.
And I think that's some of the things that, I really want to be an advocate for is not only, I just want to help people every day. I can't explain it anymore than it is truly hard every single day because it's so emotional. And you just have to, I think what gets me through it is we're talking about a champion's mindset. You can tell I worked too much today. Mindset is, their smiles and what we do for them makes a huge difference and it's so rewarding. And that's what keeps me going every day, even though it's a very hard job. That's how I keep going. And you overcome obstacles as a small business, Kelley, because, you've been in it 19 years, but being a small business, that's got ups and downs.
Yep.
And you just kind of be creative. And I'm glad we got hooked up, Kelley, because, together, because it's nice to be able to spread the word about what I do to you all as well. Just to let everybody know there are different things out there that we have that struggles too. And we have the mindset just to keep going because we help people and it's in your blood. I've loved seniors since I can remember. And I just want to be a good leader and a good role model to everybody. I just want to share my story and hopefully inspire someone that might need it. And I reread my chapter and I told Kelley I cried because it was just, it rejuvenates you to read what we wrote.
Yeah.
I think it just kind of grounds you and says, yes, this is where you're supposed to be. And, God led you here and this is your niche. And a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah.
And so we need more of us.
For sure.
We need more of us. So
For sure.
hi.
Thank you so much. And her information is at the end of her chapter. And Michelle, like you said, she wants to help everybody. And I've reached out. She's helped me when I got scammed. We ain't got to talk about that. You remember what happened, but it wasn't her. But she helped me so tremendously. So yeah, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being a part of the project. Anything else you want to say before you go?
No, I think Neal, did you want to say something?
Neal raised his hand.
Your mute's on. Your mute's on. I know that little button.
Okay.
Trust me, I have.
So,
Hi.
Hi. You know what? I may speak for the group, but you know what is great about you? If I walked into a room and I needed assistance, you got a great smile.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As much as, I'll tell my story in a minute, but as much as a lot of us all have something, as we get older, we all have something, right? And I say to people, just put a smile on your face. You're here, you're here. And I think that warmth resonates and has resonated in this conversation that you love what you do. And
I do.
Since 24, but I think you've been in business a lot longer than that, helping people with a smile on your face every day. So
yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try to tell people, no matter how you feel inside, make sure the outside looks the best you want to look. We all probably do that because we all have things that we go through, but you got to smile. You got to smile. And my seniors make make the day when they come in and they smile at me or hug me or give me a kiss on the cheek or, just dance with me or it's so rewarding and I just truly love what I do. And I'm so blessed to have gotten the opportunity to do what I do today. And I could not have done it with my family's support and, God either. So, I mean, it's just, he needed me here and that's what I'm doing. I'm doing the job.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Coop, where you at? Aloha. Coop, are you on mute? You on mute, brother.
Aloha, brother.
Aloha. Welcome to the
Aloha.
party.
Everybody, you know where we're at. We're
Where
in
you at?
Raleigh. We're at Jimmy V's.
You at Jimmy V's?
We're at Jimmy V's in Raleigh. Showing the picture.
Wow.
We're in the Wolf Den. And
Wow.
Scott, I am a diehard Tar Heel. But the
I'm
story,
seeing all that. I'm seeing all that red in the background.
you got to hear the story.
Making this Tar Heel a little nervous there.
I know, bro.
I love Jimmy V. And Coach Valvano recruited me. I remember his visit to my family room like it was yesterday.
Yeah, and we got such a lovely staff here. They set us up in the den. We didn't know anything. It was totally ab live. And here we are. The ESPYs are on. They're going off tonight. But yeah, what do we say? It's all about dribbling for victory over cancer now. And that's how I got to the V Foundation. So but I met Kelley through Jermaine Jones. Yes. Yeah. And I was over on the island of Oahu when that phone call from Kelley came. And then once you meet Kelley, you're already locked in for friends, right?
That's right.
But so in 15, I lost my mother. And when I lost my mother, we all know our mothers. I mean, we can't repay their love. And so I was invited to be on this race across the USA team. And my mother got sick with the cancer and I couldn't join them. I flew from California, LA back to Indiana to spend as much time with her before she passed. Well, after she passed, going through the grieving process, I've said, I'm going to pick this basketball up. I'm going to start in California and we're going to go to the New York City Marathon. And we're going to do it for the V Foundation. So we raised money all the way across. Took 4 months.
Wow.
And it was 30 months. I'd never open up and share that about myself when I first meet somebody because it doesn't sound believable. I just tell them I dribble 5Ks and 10Ks with the kids and go on with it. But we're here talking about this championship mindset. And the whole reason, the passion that Coop has is the passion with everybody else gathered here is our youth and everyone that's going through the grieving and the illness, the cancers and the caregiving. So I learned about dribble for victory over cancer. And once I learned about that, right now there's only 3 universities doing it. UCLA, where it all started, Duke, and North Carolina. Those are the 3 that are doing it. My passion is to see every university, even the high schools. If you don't know about this event, you should look it up because it's a win-win-win. So they're doing, we all know about Dickie Vitale and his gala. But these events, the parents and the kids raise a little money, and then the men's team and the women's team, we all meet out on the campus. We dribble around campus. The kids are interacting with the players, and then they line up, men on one side, women on the other, and all the kids get there, and it's a win-win-win. So that's kind of the story in a nutshell. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it, and great to be sharing it with all of you. And wow, love to hear all of the glory to God, because that's why we're all here, serving Him.
That's it.
And I don't know how many of you been to Hawaii yet, but Mr. Kelley Cole hasn't been yet.
I haven't been yet.
His day's coming.
I was just in Oahu, and I love it there. It's a pretty place. It's been far too long since I had been back, and I want to thank you, Steve, for sharing that and what you're doing for the Cancer Foundation. I'm actually playing some golf in the Community Cancer Fund up in Northern Idaho next weekend. Next weekend, and I look forward to doing that every year as well. And I don't know if it directly affects the Jimmy V program. I know there's several different cancer foundations that they raise money for that does support, but looking forward to doing that as well. I'm going to have to jump off as I got a retired NBA Players Association event I got to get to here in a little bit. But thank you, Kelley. Thank you all for sharing, Mr. Jennings, and everybody else that shared, and appreciate you guys giving me a little time. And Kelley, I just got my book on Monday when I was coming to Vegas, so I look forward to reading it when I get back.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you guys very much. And thank you for putting my ugly face on the cover.
Sure.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, they're gonna close here at 9, so I'm gonna say aloha too.
All right.
And look forward
Be
to
safe, baby.
See you, Mr. Jennings.
All right, cool. Be safe, brother. Talk to you soon.
Aloha.
Aloha. Now we're going back to the Midwest. Claudetta, how you doing? Take yourself off mute. You still muted. Hold on, let's see. There you go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome to the party.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
Hi. I'm good. I can see you're doing good too.
God is good. No complaints.
All the time.
No complaints. Well, take it away. Share a little bit about what you shared in your chapter. I remember when we did your chapter, we both had talked about our mom, shared a few tears, and it was just much needed as for me as it was for you. So take it away. I won't take your time.
Yeah. I echo the sentiments of my other co-authors when it comes to the grieving process. I was one of my mom's primary caregivers before she passed from pancreatic cancer. She got her diagnosis on the 9th of March, and unfortunately she passed on the 21st of March, a week before her 72nd birthday. And I talked about that, but that's just like one nugget of of the push through, that I've had to do in my life. I have a life of grief and trauma, unlike many other people that are in the book. And it's a very surreal thing that I deal with. I was just talking to someone earlier today about grief and trauma, and I pulled back the layer of an onion that I had never peeled back. And it was the conversation that I had in therapy. I've had it in conversations with my girlfriends. And it's amazing how I can talk about the same situation and then see another side of it that I never saw.
Yeah.
And it reveals another sector of trauma or unhealed issues that I had. But again, in life, I tell people, like, life is plotting on us while we sleep. That's my mentality, right? You have the best laid plans, and life is like, hold on a second, let me show you something. So you wake up and then boom, your plan is all blown to crap, right? So then we have to readjust, realign, make things work. And that's not just with taking care of my mom as a veteran, 22 years in the Navy and growing up as one of few young girls on my block. I was bullied. I ran with the boys all the time, being a tomboy. the champion mindset, when I think about it, it's almost like I was born with it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been pushing through stuff my whole life. And in my book that I wrote, I choose to do it with a smile. I'm grunting, sometimes I'm cussing, I'm fussing. But at the end of the day, if you didn't give me the joy that's in my heart, you can't take it from me. So therefore, I smile. And I have my moments when I don't smile. But I think that throughout everything that I've been through in my life, there is a light that shines on me, and I'm not in the mood to let it go out. So I will push, just like when I tried to go out for football and had that machine you tried to push and dig, and I push everything. I don't push my feelings down, but I will push through until I can, reach my goal. And then I'll deal with whatever is hurting me, because I firmly believe that if you don't deal with it, it will show up in ways that you never expected or that you were not ready for. So it's best to, get through it and then get to it.
Love it. We can all relate. And if they don't know, you're from Chi-Town. You're from one of the best cities in the world. So I had
You
to have
better know it.
this.
Yes, sir. Southside.
Southside. Good stuff. Anything you want to share? Anything you working on? Anything you got coming up? Or any way we can support you?
My socials are in my chapter. I'm currently working on 2 books, but it's going to take a while for me to get through them, because it's some more, heavy things that I have to write and pause, and then pause and write, and write and pause. But I do have a couple of projects coming out. But we will chat about that offline, and they will be up when they're ready.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure, bro. My pleasure.
All right. Adron, the swing champ. Where you at?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, man. They
Nice.
don't know. You one of them St. Lunatics. You won a World Series with the
Hey,
St. Louis Cardinals.
Hey, I know y'all know Roy Jones, Pensacola in the house all day, but most definitely a Cardinal for sure.
For
For
sure.
sure. How you doing, man? Thank you for having me. And before you even say anything, dog, it's been amazing hearing so many stories. I've been kind of going in and out. I have my kids here in town, and but man, it's amazing. And I heard somebody say it earlier, I think it was Mr. Keith. He said he was always a team player. You know, I feel like if it's a bunch of team players that's been on these calls, so it's good to be able to hear that, because I wasn't the Albert Pujols, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't the Yadi Molina, you feel me? So, and to hear these accomplishments, I kind of feel like they couldn't have done it without us. You know what I'm saying? So it's a nice conversation. I appreciate you having me on.
Of course, brother. Thank you so much for being a part of this project. Can you share a little bit about what you talked about in your chapter about that champion's mindset, man, and how you got to be locked in order to become a champion?
I mean, basically, I can go with the start off with I lost my sister, I lost my grandmother, I lost, you know what I'm saying? I hear a lot of people saying being able to get over that, or I shouldn't say get over that, but get through that. But at the same time, when it comes to that, I think I really believe that's a champion mindset. You know what I mean? Being able to understand that you're going to go through. I never forget. Uh, oh man, you slipped my brain. Dougie Fresh. I was at Mike Epps' concert. Dougie Fresh came up to me, and he and I first met, and he learned that we won the championship that year. I met him the same year. He said, "What does it take?" You know what I'm saying, to be a champion, and it was like weird, because I'm over here like, you Dougie Fresh, you know what I'm saying? Why you asking me this question? And I was like, you'll have to do something. I feel like you'll have to do something that you've never done before. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through something you've never gone through before to be a champion. And for me, um, that's been my mindset since the beginning. I've never was the biggest. I've never was the fastest all the time, I should say. Still could believe I can beat everybody in running, but I always thought that I had to, like, it was something that I had to fight through. You feel me? It was something that I had to endure, to help me get to the other side, whether it was a height challenge or a death in the family or whatever. But um, creating that mindset very much so started early for me. Roy Jones, like I said earlier, my uncle was his trainer. Derrick Brooks, we went to church together. Man, I can go. Don Sutton is from Pensacola. Pensacola is so many. Justin Gatlin is my best friend. So we had that mindset very early, seeing Roy Jones running 30 miles. So we created that. But when it comes to a championship mindset and doing it yourself, for me, I know, obviously I use those guys, but like I said, I had my family members, um, even though we had those tragedies, my sister was a big one. I always was able to lean back on my family and find a foundation of love and care. And, when things weren't going my way, I know I didn't go into too much depth in that in my story, but I think that's where it started at. Once I kind of created that, when I got to high school, it was over with. I thought I was the best. Just like my man Keith was talking about. I also tore my ACL. I tore my ACL in high school, having to understand how am I gonna push through that. I never been through an injury like that. Especially after being 5'9", 5'10", the fastest at 9, you got to sit on the couch all day. So that was another one. End up going to Mississippi State. For the ones that don't know the story, I got to get my book too. Um, Sylvester Croom, who was like a father to me. He was the first black coach over there in the SEC. I he was if I said the biggest influence that I had, one of the biggest influence that I had getting through the professional side of my life, he was it. I never forget him telling me, after Mississippi State, going from football to baseball, he told me this is just a chapter in your life, and understanding that was hard at the time. You're 18, 19 years old trying to figure life out. End up going to Pensacola State, in Pensacola Junior College back in the day. Um, in those times, even though I know I'm the oldest in this group right now. No, but being able to have that baseball background, end up going to go play baseball at Pensacola Junior College. And, that's when I really found myself. That's when I really found, that baseball is a lot different than all, thinking, choosing when to swing, just sitting out there might not get a ball all game long, and now you gotta make the last out. It really had a different mindset. And I really believe that's when, even though I did establish a nice foundation of how to overcome, and we won a lot of championships when I was young in Little League and all that. When I played baseball, I had to learn how to, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, is understand that you was going to have a lot more failure than success in baseball.
Yeah.
3 times out of 10, you still a Hall of Famer. You feel me? You hit the ball 3 times. Still, those numbers still mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So having to learn that is, I really feel like that's when it was concrete in my brain. It was that I don't care. No, I hit a line drive. I had to learn the difference. I tell all of I'm the head coach at Pine Forest right now. I tell all of my athletes now to how to differentiate. You have to be able to differentiate how you evaluate success. You know what I'm saying? What success is, because, like I said, you'll hit a line drive right back at the pitcher and you think it's the best swing that you had all day and you still out. So having that plays with you, you know what I mean? I know it might sound like, something minor, but I know all of you guys, I should say that all of you guys understand that. And women, I'm sorry. But it's really, um, when it came to the, obviously, we're talking about, college, but the pro level, man, it was it was amazing to me, you know. And I'm trying to. I know you said 5 or 10 minutes, so I'm trying to make sure I get everything that I wanted to say out. Because you know, you got Albert Pujols, you got Yadier Molina, you got Tony La Russa. I played with I played with Hall of Famer, just like my man. Was it Scott that was with Michael? I can only imagine what he, you know, what he was in going through. And I know a lot of you guys and everybody on this panel, you know, played or been around people of that stature. You know, Mark McGuire came up to me and was like, "Hey man, you got to figure out how to stay." It was like it was, and I did this my first year. You know, I kind of feel like it's a two-part to my story because, you know, as soon as I got there, we won this World Series. Tony La Russa just left. You know, we were just eating lunch together, and he was telling me, "Without you, we don't win the World Series." So in my mind, it was like I'm being a rookie. You like, man, I ain't do nothing. You know what I mean? I was cheering just like everybody else. But then, you know, you had your own manager come in and talk about, you know, your significance. So it's my story is unique, just like all of you all's, and it's very. I'm fortunate, just like everybody on this panel, I guess you can say, about just being able to tell that story and understand, you know, what piece of the puzzle that I play. I like to think of baseball as a canvas. Baseball, you know, hitting a ball or whether you know you can the bat is your paint stick and the ball is your paint and how are you gonna paint this picture? And you know you can hit it to the left side all you want to. You can pull it out. You know, for baseball people to understand that it's like, you know, you never know. You never know. And being able to experience what I've experienced, not only obviously I'm able to wear this championship title, this World Series title, but you know, I'm able to apply that in my life now. You know what I mean? Coaching and, you know, being in my community. Reading is a big thing to me. I like to go around and I know you see it now on my Instagram where I have my children's book I just wrote, Watch Out for That Curve. And I just go out and read, you know what I mean? Try to, you know, I understand, you know, I understand building that foundation. It's just been a tremendous experience for me. I'm still going through it. I look at some of those guys that's on TV playing, and I'm like, man, he was a rookie with me, you know? So, and seeing them still play, so I feel like I still got it. But I ain't going out there on that field no time soon. But it's just it's a wonderful thing, man. And obviously being able to meet you, Kelley, you know, me and you have sat down and talked, and you know how passionate I can be about this stuff. You know, I remember you was on me like, when you gonna write it? When you gonna write it? And then, you know, I'm on you now, like, hey, what I gotta do now? You know, so it's been a wonderful experience, man, and being able to tell it. I want to do more of this, you know, I want to be a part of more functions like this where I can meet people like you all and hear y'all's great stories and learn how to be on stage and tell my story because I feel like I do have a story. You know, I can call and talk with the greatest first baseman to ever play, and he listened to me. I never forget Manny Ramirez in the batting cage listening to me tell him how to hit. It's like, bruh, you a Hall of Famer. What can I tell you? You know, but you know, being around people just like y'all that are humble and you go through life and you have these experiences that you have to battle and work through. You know, at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, it's if you have the skills, you got the skills. That's what I tell my athletes. If you got it, you got it. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna help you run these extra sprints over here. But if you got it, you got it. You know, so being able to experience that with y'all, man, thank you for allowing me to be here, man. And anything that I have, like my man said, you know, I'm open. Whatever you need from me, I got you. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
Whatever
you,
you need.
brother.
Yeah. And Miss Eunice, man, thank you. You asked some good questions. You like me. I love asking questions, man. I love those questions. And my man that asked Mr. Keith the question. I was actually gonna ask Mr. Keith the question. You said that you and I don't want to
Go ahead.
interrupt
You
you,
got a
Kelley.
question for
I
Keith
was
if
I
he's
was
in
like
here?
I was like you know, you said something about I played in Colombia, I played in Puerto Rico, I played, and I can't even tell you no story. I played better over there. Like right now, if you go to Venezuela, they're gonna be like, man, that's Mr. Chambers. He hit 500. You know, I hit way better than I did in St. Louis, but it was because of the atmosphere. You know what I mean? People, they love the game, the way they cheer. We have bands there. I know y'all see it in the World Classic. That is really going on every single game. So it was easier to wake up and be excited to go. And not saying that it's not like that over here, but it was a different experience. So my question was that a part of it? Was it the atmosphere that also, helped that decision with you? Like, you know what? Let me stay over here. I know it's I don't want to play behind Matt Holliday, Lance Berkman. I mean, I ain't where am I gonna play behind Lance Berkman? You feel me? That's a Hall of Famer switch hitter. He can hit on the left side and the right side. Where you gonna play? So it's like, but being able to go over there, I would have loved to play over there for 20 years of my life if that was the experience. So that's my question. Was that a part of it? The atmosphere in France?
I mean, first of all, shout out to you because, like you said, when you get to that top level, man, I don't think a lot of people realize what you put your body through, what you put your mind through. And like most of you guys have lost somebody. I lost a sister like 3 years ago, like my biggest fan. So shout out to you guys for fighting through and, understanding the grieving process. As far as basketball went, it was different because when you hear people whistling all in the stands and you trying to play and you wonder if that's the referee whistle, it was really different. And but I definitely enjoyed it. Like you said, when I got overseas, no one had really seen a smaller point guard like me. So I first played against Tony Parker before he came over, and I gave Tony some problems, you know what I'm saying? But then he
Yeah.
goes on and plays with the Spurs and wins all those titles. So, it's a, like you said, for me, it was just about being able to play.
Yeah.
I worked on my game so much, and I acted like I was a performer, and that basketball court was my stage. And I
Nice.
worked so much on my game that when I was able to perform for you, I wanted you to. Basketball is one of them sports, kind of like baseball, something you can do at the plate. You hit a home run, the whole crowd, that action of you hitting that, and then the crowd jumping out of their seat because of something you did. Like if I hit a
Right.
3-pointer or threw a nice pass and I made somebody jump up like, and go crazy, to me, that was like fulfilling for me to fulfill something that evidently, if they can't do it, you bring joy to them. I always loved that part. So, I wanted to play anywhere, but overseas, it was definitely different. Yes,
Yeah.
I played in Turkey. I played in Russia. We had rocks thrown at our bus when we left because they was mad because we won. I never
Hey,
saw that in
Roy
the
said.
States, but it was
Hey,
crazy.
Roy said that Russia is one of his favorite places. I don't know why he said it, but Russia is one of his favorite places. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was very interested and like I said, I'm learning. So, man, I appreciate that right there, man. And I know a lot of these things that we don't get a chance to talk about. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to be able to hear the things that y'all are sharing today. So I appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, we're gonna keep it in the baseball field. Next up, my guy, Coach Tony V. He won the first Special Olympics gold medal for I'm gonna let him tell you, but that's all I'm gonna tell you. Coach Tony V, take yourself off of mute. It's your show, brother. How you doing?
All right, I'm great, Kelley. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, and it's an honor to be involved in this project with a lot of amazing people. I had a chance to read through the book and read people's stories, and it's absolutely amazing. The group of people it put together, and
Yeah.
I know this book is going to go far and help a lot of people. My story, you talk about, Adron, you talk about playing. I went to Italy and played professionally first and was rookie of the year and came home and signed with the Red Sox. And my career was derailed by getting hit from behind by a drunk driver. Took me a year and a half to learn how to walk again. And I guess I was considered disabled at the time. Well, it ends up in my life that my work and my why is working with athletes with disabilities. And as Kelley mentioned, back in 2012, I was asked by Special Olympics if I thought athletes with disabilities could play the game of baseball. And I thought they could. And the CEO at that time looked at me and said, "You wear a baseball hat every day of your life. So do these people, but they've never had the opportunity that you've had. We need to change that." And 2 years after that, we actually went and played in the USA Games, which is the Olympics for Special Olympics. They just had it in Minnesota, actually last month. We won the first ever gold medal. and we played in Trenton. Kelley, you and I were there for actually a book signing at the same stadium. And I had 19 athletes, and these athletes had a variety of disabilities. Amazing people. The first book that I wrote, on the cover is actually a picture of me with my hand on the shoulder of an athlete who's 6'5", 260, who is afraid to bat because he was hit by a pitch when he was a little boy. And in front of 3,000 people at the gold medal game, I'm giving him this pep talk to say, just stand in the box. We'll get through this. And I'll buy you a soda afterwards. And I did. So it worked out really well. We ended up beating Rhode Island for the gold medal. And as I shared in the chapter, one of my athletes walked up to me in tears and said, "This is the best day of my life." And that changed me for really the rest of my life. When you look at these athletes, and they were the guys that any of you in school, they were the managers, they were the guys who were the towel guy, the water guy. Now, all of a sudden, they're the athletes that people are coming to see, and they're winning a gold medal. And now we have programs down in North and South Carolina. We have one out in Western PA. I live outside the Philadelphia area. We're starting to build that, but I coach Team New Jersey. So my addition to this book is, there's 62 million people in the United States that have disabilities, and 62 million people, and I know that there's a ton of them who's never had an opportunity to play the game of baseball or to work in a facility or to be a part of a team. We need to change that. And when I started a nonprofit called Base Able, baseball is what they do, but really the platform here is to create more inclusion for people with disabilities. Throughout my life, I've been a protector of when I was young with kids with disabilities who were picked on or weren't picked on a team. When I was playing professional baseball, somehow those people with disabilities would gravitate towards me. Some of my teammates would walk right by them, ignore them because they were different, they looked different. They've always been a part of my life. And Kelley and I had a conversation after my first book about a group of people that I really needed to get that message out to. So I wrote a children's book called You Can Play Too. And that book, I'm trying to get it into as many schools as possible. It's for kids with and without disabilities to accept other people who may be different. It's another human, period. The book is dedicated to my daughter, who just finished her college basketball career, was a captain for 4 years, and is going to be a special ed teacher. And I used to take her when she was a little girl to my practices with Special Olympics and athletes with disabilities. And she said it was like having 20 big brothers around her. And pretty amazing to be able to, at some point hand the torch to her and keep it going. But the real message behind that is we need to give people opportunities who've never had them in all walks of life, not only the game of baseball, but in anything that we do, a friendship, your work, family. These people, like I said, 62 million people is about a third of our population. That's a lot of people. And a lot of people, as some of the other people, the work that you're doing is amazing. But there's a population out there that we all can help in some way. So thank you.
That's awesome, Coach. I think Bentley has a question, and then Neal has a question. Go ahead, Bentley.
Sure.
Yes. Good evening. It's inspiring to hear a lot of these former athletes talk. I myself played baseball for a long time, and baseball. I'm also a baseball coach. So trying to expand and reinvigorate baseball in the African American community, because we don't have the role models that we did back in the late 70s, 80s. You didn't have that. My question to the athletes, though, is the road after sports. what was that? What did you do to say, okay, even if you've played away in Europe or if you played at the highest level, there's something after that? And of course, what was that? What was that like? What did you do to say, okay, the next phase? What was that next phase as an athlete? You know, because it doesn't last long. And what is that phase? And I'm saying that as an educator because our youngsters don't see that. All they see is ESPN. All they see is, you know, the playoffs. And they don't, I try to tell my scholars too, it's not just one sport. You can be exposed to a bunch of sports. It's not just one avenue. It needs to be multiple avenues. So I'm asking the athletes, what are you doing? Or, you know, what was that, you know, that benchmark that says, okay, I got to shift. And are you doing that? Are you, you know, like, what is life after that?
Go ahead, Coach Tony V. You first.
Well, I coach high school also, and what I stress to my high school athletes is that you have a gift, and you have a gift of being an athlete, but you also part of that gift is giving back, and that's part of your life after your career is over. We talk about leaving a legacy. How do you want your teammates to remember you? How do you want people to remember you? But the big thing is how are you going to give back? What are you going to give back to the community and surrounding communities? And what kind of person are you going to be in the future? So to have that transition, and I'm sure the other athletes on this call would say the same thing, is sometimes things just come to you in life. But if you are a type of person that want to give back, a lot of times those situations or those opportunities find you. But it really is something that we need to stress to our younger population, that you have something, you have a gift, but that gift doesn't stop on a field. It expands way beyond that, and you need to give back and give back to um, whoever or whatever is comfortable. But I think that's how most of us found our why.
That's good. Any other athletes want to tackle that question? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah,
I
most
think for me,
definitely. Go ahead. You got it.
I was going to say real quick that it was like a plan for me. You know, I think at an early age, the people I played basketball for, they told me I was like a coach on the floor at an early age. Like I can remember some of my best friends told me the way I was speaking to them made them believe in themselves more so than they did. And so I kind of had a feeling that when my basketball career was going to be over, coaching is something I wanted to get into. And like Tony said, I think it's good for us to pay it forward. I'm big on that, you know. And I played all the sports growing up. I played football, I played baseball, I played basketball, and I know those other sports of baseball and football brought a toughness and a mental to basketball that I don't think I would have got without playing those other sports. So to be able to share all that other knowledge to these young people through the coaching realm is what I knew I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to be in the community, talk to these young kids, get them to dream, get them to believe in themselves, but also understand it's not going to be easy.
That's good. Go ahead, Adron.
Yeah, I like the question most definitely. We have the Players Alliance now in MLB, great organization, run by guys like Edwin Jackson, CC Sabathia, Curtis Granderson, black athletes. But for me, we had the RBI program coming up through the minor leagues, and every city we went to, they would have like a game that all the inner city kids would come to. And I know in Memphis, man, and every team that I played for, I was always asking about the RBI program, because I knew when it came to the inner city kids, it was the kids that looked like me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you right there, Keith. I was always advocating for, and I know how baseball is. I know how people think about baseball, because it's expensive. It's mind-boggling. It hurts your brain because you strike out and you feel like I don't need to play this game no more. But even now, I work with an agency, not a culture group. I have two athletes that just got drafted. Michael Smith, who was with me, since he was a baby. And he got drafted pretty good too. And I every day, and we just had a wonderful conversation after the day he got drafted, and it was like, um, Mike, you remember all them days I was telling you about, community. Make sure you touch. I don't care if you aren't in a big leagues right now. Stay in your community because it's gonna help you build you. I think that's what we got to make sure that we start. And I know the people that's in our group, we talk about that, like not just getting these guys the big contracts, but reminding them early to get back into your community early. I mean, Mike is already talking about building a facility here in Pensacola, which we don't have. We have Emmitt Smith is from Pensacola. I just seen him not too long ago, and it's like it's so surprising that we don't have these things. But you have these younger people that's getting drafted, and they're thinking about this stuff early. We have two NFL players, Witherspoon from the Seattle, who just won the Super Bowl. He does a camp every year. He's talking about coming. Trent Richardson, all these guys are combining and thinking. I love the question though. I love the question because it is so important, especially in baseball. For some reason, because you forget Frank Thomas, Ozzie Smith, baseball was black. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing and NBA size jokers. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no little bitty dudes. It was big dudes. And now everybody going to basketball, football, and they kind of running away from baseball. And I don't have an answer of why, but I think I do. And I know when I look at these coaches, I never had a black coach. One maybe in baseball. One. So being able to be I'm the first black coach in my city in 25 years. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things. Forgive me about that. Forgive me. But these are the things that I think about all the time. So I love the question, man. And is anything that we can partner with and do, please let me know
I don't,
because
and not to interject to you, but it's not even that about it being expensive because when I was a kid, we just made it work in the street.
for sure. For sure.
So if the passion is there, whether it's baseball, football, or football, we made it work in the street, but the thing is that it has to recycle itself. And I'm telling you, I teach 6th grade through 12th grade. The passion is not there with our young ones.
Yeah.
It's not there generally. A lot of that could be due to lack of PE or whatever, but I don't want to take up most of your time, but I just want to make it an awareness because I'm continuing to try to enlighten our kids that first of all, it's not just basketball or it's not just football. They're not exposed to a lot of sports or just these avenues, and we got to make sure that happens. But I don't want to take much of your time. I'm sorry about that. So
Sure. Appreciate you, brother. Neal, did you have a question for Coach?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say it was very godly that when he came on, Kelley, I saw a little note that Jim Abbott won the Jimmy V Award at the ESPYs tonight.
Oh,
As
wow.
soon as he came in, that happened. So, and look, I'm not an athlete, although in a sense, after losing 199 pounds, I am. But in the big picture of things, you look at things, and as we were sidebar talking baseball, I remember really thinking how important Dontrell Willis was, D-Train, when he was with the Marlins, and how there wasn't enough black athletes that were being promoted. Everything was happening from overseas and what have you. So I felt like it was really an important thing that first and foremost, like I said, godly, that when Coach came on. So my question to Coach is, in your years, who reminds you the most of Jim Abbott in terms of what he brings to the game, what he brought to the game? Listen, I work with Coach Frazier, and he tells the story that when he was pitching in Cuba, we never won in Cuba before, never, USA. And the headline in the paper was, "Freak the pitch today." Freak the pitch today. Imagine that young man dealing with that situation. So was there a player that reminds you, Coach, of Jim Abbott?
I wish I could say that there is, but there really isn't. What he has been through in his life and what he's done is absolutely amazing. I wish that I played with somebody like that. I mean, I played with some incredible athletes, but none that had a disability like Jim Abbott and turned that around. I mean, what I found with working with athletes with disabilities, they really don't want to be known for their disability. They want to be known as a teammate and as an athlete. As I mentioned, we did a camp with the Phillies a couple of years ago, and we were on the field, and we had someone do a video, and each of the athletes with the disabilities, and it was boys and girls from young till adults, walked up to the microphone and said, "I'm an athlete." All colors, all shapes, all sizes, all religions. It was absolutely amazing. Probably one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. So when you see something like that, or you hear about, a Jim Abbott, it is amazing. Just think about who gave him the opportunity to play. If they didn't, you'd never hear about him, and he wouldn't be winning an ESPY award. He wouldn't be pitching a no-hitter. So somebody gave him an opportunity, and that's really what we need to do in all sports and all walks of life is give people an opportunity.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dave.
Yes.
University of 8. The Mamba mentality.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
My
Take it
phone
away.
crashed. It got hot. I had to go get ice to calm it down. That's how it is in California.
Brother. Share a little bit about what you shared in your topic and your company, University of 8.
Well, it's a full plate, but what we started with was mental health. And when I first started this, I've owned a business for the last 25 years. 25 got brought up a lot today in the e-waste business here in California. In 2003, I was the first free e-waste removal service in Los Angeles. And then I'm now up here in Sacramento. We take care of the whole state. And we did it with just an idea and to change the game. And what I looked at it was very simple. I saw what people were picking up. They were charging. They're going to the same place to get it recycled. They're getting paid. They were double dipping. How can I make it better for both of us, for the consumer and for myself, to start the business? Because you need a lot of money to make something like that happen. So I made it free. I made the service free, and we're now in our 25th year. And what we included is later on, because everybody else, you can't patent free. Others started doing it. We started doing free on-site hard drive destruction. So, and others started joining too. And I'm sorry, I can't take care of 9 million people in Los Angeles. So, the more the better, as long as everybody's happy. But through the years, I worked with other organizations, St. Jude's hospitals and things like that, through our program to send money through. But I never really got the satisfaction back to see my work, right? Even Feed the Children, right? That's one of the ones we knew about 20 years ago was doing pretty good. And then there was a scandal there. So I came up with an idea to keep the stuff local, and it didn't happen until I had a basically in my life a crash. In 2019, I lost my father. A few months after that, I lost a friend that I was in the Navy with. So, and that's still tough. But what he shared was, when I saw him in the hospital along the creek, changed my life. So when that happened, when I left the meeting with him, not knowing it would be the last time I see him, he gave me direction. So when the pandemic happened, we were all staying at home. Right before the pandemic, we lost Kobe and Gigi. So I'm a LA native, and when I was going through my cancer back in 2003 in chemo, Lakers got me through. So, and who was the center of it was Kobe, right? So I took what he did and looked at what he was going to do moving forward. And his last tweet he put out, he said to LeBron James, "Thank you for continuing to move the game forward." So I looked at that like a painter would look at a painting. And I said, as myself, as an average person, how can I continue to move the game forward for what he was going to do? And what he was focused on was the youth, which you saw with his books and stuff like that. So I wanted to go back to the youth. And the word that I love that everybody's finally adopting is mental health. Okay. We all know what mental health is. These kids are finding out the hard way with these phones. Okay. Yeah. We used to have filters. We don't have those filters anymore. Our kids are being inundated with evil. I can't say it any kinder than that. we need good. So how are we going to get back into the schools, which you can't say God and go back into it, but there's got to be a way, right?
Yeah.
So we came up with what was called smart pencils. We took people that have been through life experiences and their mottos that help them get them through it. And we put them on pencils. As we all grew up, we all heard the school of hard knocks, right? Well, it never existed until now. So I put it on a pencil and I started with Kobe and Gigi. Kobe's was, if it is to be, it's up to me. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the golden rule of life, right? Now, if you need the 1-2, then you have Gigi, and it's I got this. And when Kobe was on Jimmy Kimmel, you can see the story of how proud he was when he was told by fans, "Hey, Kobe just had a boy," and she said, looked into him, she goes, "I got this." So those two right there started my program. What took me to the next level, and I'm sorry, I'm going deep here, but you have to understand what I'm doing is with these pencils. Going back to these kids, they're going to have these stories, not just on the pencils. They're going to have the people, if not in front of them through social media, to explain their stories so they can go deeper on what such the stories we have today, right? So I was in the Navy back in the 80s. And the only reason I was there is I was stabbed by a pencil. Okay. And because of that, I wound up in the Navy at the age of 17.
Wow.
And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been overseas and my friends from the HMS Sheffield, not knowing that 3 months later, after I met these gentlemen, Indigo Garcia, that 20 would be gone. So that was in 1982, and that was the Falkland Islands War. I reconnected with them in 2017, okay? And what they were trying to do was raise their ship is in the South Pacific, and they're trying to get the metal from the ship to make their memorial. Well, what happened was, and that was the plan in 2017, was everyone was going to get together and do events. Well, their event was supposed to be done by 2022. What happened in 2020? Everything shut down. So a long story short, over the next 15 months, my family and friends were over there. They couldn't go outside, so they made scarves, flags, anything that had to do with the Sheffield or their colors. And they did it. They raised the money by themselves with no help. So that's when I looked at my friend's ship. They have 8 arrows on it. And again, I did my painting moment. I looked at it. I looked at those 8 arrows, and I looked at those 8 arrows, and I thought, how do we make points? How do we make points? And that's when honor, respect came up. And that's when I thought, 1 and 2 is not going to fit all. We need more. So we're up to 24 smart pencils. Okay. I got some amazing people involved in it that I've included. I took sayings that I would thought were great examples, and I've been applying to people such as, can you dig it? That started with Shaq. And that also comes back from the movie The Warriors. If you go way back in the day, there was that movie called The Warriors, and the guy said it in that thing, can you dig it? Well, the guy, if you all remember, this guy was clicking bottles in it, and he was saying, Warriors, come out to play, yay. Well, his name is David Kelley. This is mine. I was attending Galt High School at that time, which is about 24 miles south of Sacramento, a bunch of small people with small brains, sorry. And they watched the movie, and they decided to go. I was in the quad one day, and they were walking through the crowd, and 10 kids. Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play. As they passed me, I got stabbed in the chest with a pencil. That was my last day in high school. So I find it ironic that all these years later, I came back, and it all started because I had to cover some pain up, right? It was a mental health thing. Is I had to take a FU to a thank you, right? I was an angry person. So when I saw my friend, and when he passed away, and the story he shared, he was trying to share something with me that don't care about you. Focus on others, and you'll get better. And that's how I wanted to do these pencils. And that's how I've been bringing people in. Like I've been listening to Tony V. You have books. Everybody has books. We have started a library and it's a free library. I would love to add your books to our library. I've already got it. I have people that I've added in the last few weeks, so I'm going to lose track of it. But if you look at my Instagram page, you'll see who it is that we've added. And one of them was Michael Cooper, Showtime Laker, Hall of Famer. And I got his very first copy of his book when it came out. So that was pretty cool. And he understood when I told him that the program that we're doing, we're going back to the youth, is part of mental health. And we're going to do it for free. And I needed people like him to encourage the kids, because they need a hero, right? So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to give you guys some homework, okay? Because you have to, I want you to feel, okay, because I've already put Kelley through this. So I want you to feel what we've done so you know what it is, okay? When I started this program, I wanted to give Vanessa Bryant a group hug, okay? And I wanted to do it with just a pencil. But I wanted to do it in Los Angeles. And thanks to a friend, Terrell Porter, he's an artist who does murals down there. He introduced me to a school, Edward Markham Middle School in Watts. And the lady out there, she is known as Yumi, his mom. She just got promoted. I have to find out what school she just went to. She got promoted to a high school. But she was awesome enough to let me go down there and talk to the 5th grade class. And this is what I did, okay? Here's your date. You guys ready for a date? Your date is 12/15/22. That was a Thursday, okay? It was 8 days before Christmas Eve. She let me talk to the 5th grade class. And what I did was I told the class that what we're going to do is, like I said, we're going to give Vanessa a group hug. But what we want to do in order for this to work, I need you to be part of what we're doing. And I want to get your family involved too. And we're going to give your mom a group hug. These kids didn't understand. But I told them what it is. And we made a pencil that was given out that day. And the instruction was they were to take this pencil and put it under the tree for 8 days. On Christmas Eve at 8:24 in the morning, they would go to the school website to see if the answer was. And what the answer would have on top of it, with it, would be a number 5. It would be 12, 15, 22, and 5. So if you Google that, you will see what the answer they came up with. And what we put on the pencil was at the bottom of it was hot chocolate. They were supposed to have hot chocolate ready when they got their answer. Okay. So that was our first thank you Eve. I want to call it thank you on Christmas Eve by doing that. And we did it with just a pencil. So when you have your aha moment, okay, you'll see it. And then you'll understand. These kids may understand, but what I heard later on, the moms and dads understood. They received the pencil. They saw it and said, how did you come up with this? And I said, trust me, I had help. So that's how I started the program. My next year, I went to Paradise, California. Okay. This is where I upgraded. I want to give these kids something to look forward to and something to every year we get to do this. All right. It's called Thank You Eve. We have a cake made up in Paradise, and each year I take it to a different city. Now, I'm a guy, my mental health has always been surrounded with movies and music. That's what gets me through, including my work, but movies and music. And I always try to have fun with that, right? So why did I say that? Oh, dear. I was trying to tell a joke and I blew it.
Oh, good.
What was I saying at the end there? My dog walked in on me. Sorry. What was the last part?
No, you was explaining us about Thank You Eve. You was bringing it on.
So what I did is I took it to, in California Love. You know the song California Love, Dr. Dre, Tupac. And it starts off with 3 cities. Okay. The first city that I went to was Los Angeles. You'll see that in the song. The second city I went to in the second year was Watts. And I did celebrate it with a group of ladies called the Sisters of Watts down there. Now I want to get back to them. And then last year, we did it in the city of Compton. And that was what the lady's been in business for 35 years. And she's been part of my program for the last 4 years. And what we've been trying to do is build our program to be around the world, to where every year on Christmas Eve, we have this Thank You Eve, where we give everybody a group hug. People that helped us make us through this year, people that, whatever it was, people we've lost, we all that stuff. If you had a birthday that somebody missed, hey, we're here for you. That's what our Thank You Eve is. So next day, when you have your Christmas, we have our Christmas, right? But this is about humanity. And this is why I did this. And what did I focus on? And where my thing is I just took the 10 commandments and I focused on one. And I took the 5th commandment and I looked at the 5th commandment and I said, we've honored our father pretty much our whole lives, but have we ever really honored our mother? Not according to the books. So we're still here. Listen to everybody here. We're here for a reason.
Yeah.
You have that question you ask all the time. Why am I here? Like at this moment, right? I used to be a person I'd be angry about if I upset it because I got stuck somewhere. I got lost. And then I realized as I got older, pay attention. What's going on around you? Why are you here? And it's amazing when you look at a different lens. Whoa, there's something else going on here. And what I found is our kids are being left behind. We don't have to wait for Jesus. It's already happening, right? So it's our responsibility to go back to the kids and tell them we're there for them. We have the tools, we have the people, and you know what? We're going to continue to be here for you, and we'll bring amazing people to your schools. And this is where I work with mostly. I love the best is I bring these people to school. And this is where, if you have the opportunity, please look up Fredia Gibbs. Mr. Steve Cooper is a gift that keeps on giving. This guy has introduced me to Jermaine Jones, which is now a part of our program, and he has his own pencil. It's Mental Health Matters. And we're also part of his 824 program that he does his basketball camps. But Fredia, she is a survivor of the Grim Sleeper. That guy killed over 100 women. She survived him because she kicked the crap out of him because of what she learned. And she still deals with mental health issues. She has such bad anxiety still, you know. So she has a movie coming out this year, and that's going to really, really help her. And it's dubbed the Female Rocky. And I am honored to be working with her. And she is currently running our anti-bullying campaign in our schools and telling these kids that they're there for them. And if somebody's giving them a bad time, she's there. Okay. Yeah. Now, the other one I want to reach to, because I got some news today and I didn't want to get that news, is the book that I started this with was Embraced by the Light. That's how I started my Thank You events, okay? And it was based on a word that was in a book. When I first got this book, I was going through my chemo. I didn't apply anything. It was just something that I read. And then in 2000, what was it? In 2022 or 2021 that's when I came back to this book. And there was a word called acquainted. And I built my foundation on that. So Betty Eadie's movie's also in post-production. Her movie's coming out this year. She just had a stroke and she's now in the hospital. So her dream is to have her movie. She wants to sit in a theater in the very back at the grand opening and feel what everybody else feels when it opens. So we're everybody's trying to, if we could just pray for her. There's you can see the link on my Instagram page for what they're for the Embraced by the Light link there, so you can take a look at them, what they do. But I want to finish with this. Also on July 4th, down in Compton, there was a shooting, and one of the good guys got taken. So his name was Eric Washington. He was one of my heroes, and he worked in the Compton and in Watts community, and he was really loved by the Sisters of Watts. And Israel, another gentleman I work with that Taste Buds approved, was very good friends with him. They're going through a hard time right now, and they're going to have their services not this Friday, but next Friday. If you have the opportunity on Instagram, reach out to the Sisters of Watts, give them a group hug, and Robin is the leader of the group, and she'll make sure Eric's mom gets the message. And the reason I want to do this is the University of 8, we celebrate life, and we celebrate it always, okay? And that's what I mean about our love is always. And in times like this, this is when we need to lift each other up, okay? So I really appreciate your time. There's other stuff I wanted to go through. I'm not really a scripted guy. I like how you go days, we're just winging it. But there's just really so much going on. But the greatest honor is that I'm at the high table with you all. And I get to share my story, and you're sharing my story, or I'm sharing my story with you. and I would love you have you a part of my program. It's a free program. Okay. You tell me, I'm looking at Tony V, what he says. You can play too. We can put that on a thing. But also, I listen to what you say, and I want to come up with what did I think you stand for, right? So we have all these things like Eunice, you have figure it out. That should be on a pencil. You know what I mean? That's these simple little things that we put on a pencil. And the other ones is what I do love is I actually had nuns light the cake on my first cake, light the candles on the first cake, and it was done in the Catholic Church. So you tell me if God's not working here, because there's no way you're going to get an average person to watch into a Catholic church and ask nuns to do something, and they did it, and they did it with a smile. And I found out last July that the lady that lit the candle, Sister Mary, she passed away. But the nun shared with me, she was happy to be involved with what she did. Awesome. So I know we're doing something good. This is going to keep growing what we do every single year. And I can't wait to read the rest of everybody else's story. I read it in the other part, but I want to read the book. If you guys want to connect with me, if you guys want a pencil made for yourself, let me know. We'll take care of you. And everything we do is all part of kids' mental health. It's
awesome. Appreciate you so much, Dave, and all you do, brother.
Oh, thank you. Oh, and right. Let me finish with this. Job's not finished.
Job's not finished. I love it. All right. I saved the best for last. But no, this is my guy. When I tell you me and my guy Neal, I'm not going to share any of his story. But me and Neal have compassion shouting matches at each other on just making each other better.
Huh.
He will call me and scream at me, and I'll scream at him. And then we end the call with, I love you, brother.
I love you.
Always.
I love you, baby.
It's your show. Take it away, brother.
Hi, my name is Neal Bendesky, and some call me the 199 guy. Why? Because I lost 199 pounds, survived sudden cardiac death, and beat cancer. And Coach V, in the last year, I also was rear-ended by a drunk driver. So I just did my 43rd race since my heart attack in Paris. And, you know, when our player was talking about playing in France, I'm telling you, I had to get an epidural just to run that race. It was a 10K, the Adidas 10K. And if I never see another cobblestone road, I'll be happy. But let me tell you something. France was an experience. Our son's going to graduate school there. But more importantly, not more importantly, but actually what was interesting is I'm wearing USA stuff and I'm running a 10K and people in France are yelling, USA, USA. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, it's like, I must be an athlete because I've been an administrator my whole life. So young in my life, I converted to Christianity. But before that, I was bar mitzvah. And for those of you that know the Jewish religion, you know, you become a man. Well, as I was getting to that point, I realized that if I wanted to be in sports, it wasn't going to be on the field. It was going to be in the opportunity of doing it something with events or administration or whatever. And that's what I did. I was a PA guy, you know, did my thing. And a lot of times Kelley's hooked me up so many great times. And before I go on my story, let me just tell you something. Whatever we want to talk about, it all comes back to love and support. And is there anybody on this call that would disagree with me, I should say agree with me, that this man is so full of love and support, and when he gets behind your project, he's in it to win it, right? That's it.
Don't
right?
start, Neal. Don't start. I don't want to fight.
Okay, so anyway, as it all goes down, on podcasts, some people say to me, well, how did you get to be 450 pounds? I said, well, it's pretty simple. I worked in sports. You know, I worked at the University of Miami, won a couple national championships. I got to work with the great Ron Frazier, you know, in baseball. We won a couple championships there. I'm still a big Kane fan. But, you know, I also carried that through and did the Marlins and I was vice president of the Heat. But you know what? At arenas and stadiums, fan food is not fuel food. So I did not understand nutrition. I did not. And the fact is that, you know, in our book that we all share this message, I would say that one of the big things that I shared is you can be a champion of choice or a victim of circumstance. And I think a lot of my life, I was a victim of circumstance. I made excuses. I lived by the can't words instead of what I now do, which is the can words. And that said, you know, when I was going through this process, I was 450 pounds. And, you know, I want to die. You know, we all reach a dark point in our life. Kelley got me motivated recently. He says, listen, stop running those static posts. Start being Neal. Start talking about, you know, what you do and what has happened so you can help other people, because our goal, all of us, is to create a chain reaction of inspiration for others. And we're all doing that. So kudos for being a part of this book. I'm thankful, I'm great for the opportunity. But the big picture is that I was not that person. So there's another author, many of you guys may know, he wrote The Power of Who, Bob Bodine, and he spoke when I was working at St. Louis University and at SLU. And he basically painted a picture that if you don't look the part, I'm not going to put you in a position, and he places people like Deion Sanders and you know, quite a few headline, Fran Brown at Syracuse, those type of situations. So, you know, I took that to heart. So it was my job. I came here to Arizona to work for the Arizona Rattlers. And at the end of the day, it was my job to get corporate partners. And listen, you know, you want to create an ROI with business partners. You know, we all have to do it with our particular businesses. But in all due respect, I got Orange Theory Fitness as a sponsor, and I got a free membership. Well, guess what? After the first 5 weeks, I failed. In fact, on October 12th, 2015, a little boy was in the lobby waiting for his mother. I was wearing a 5X red top. Said to me, "Are you Santa Claus?" And my initial reaction was not PG-13. I said, "Ho, ho, ho." And one thing led to another. And I said to our trainer, "What do I got to do?" And he says, "You got to learn about nutrition." You know, so in all due respect, you know, in contributing to this book, The Champion's Mindset, you know, I didn't say this in the beginning. How many of you have people in your life, and I say this when I speak, you know, who are a miracle? Because I, quite frankly, think I'm a miracle because of the things that I mentioned earlier. But in all due respect, everybody on this call, everybody that we touch, okay, whether it's a coach, a former player, whatever it is, everybody we touch is a miracle waiting to be happening. And it's really on them and their positive mindset. So when Kelley asked me to get involved with this book, I basically had talked to Bob Bodine. I made this claim to him after that experience in St. Louis. And I came here to Arizona and I got Orange Theory and blah, 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 blah. And what did I do? I called him up and I said, man, I had just seen this movie. What was it? Mr. 3000, the great, you know, Bernie Mac, right? And he talked about how he was humbled and he was, you know, a great player when he played, you know, fictitiously, of course, in the movie. But the point was, he became Mr. 2999, thinking he always needed to get that one hit to get into the Hall of Fame. Well, he found out when you gave back to people and you were more than just about yourself, that you became somebody even more powerful. You were living in God's world by doing these positive things, by having a positive mindset. So yes, I said, you know what? I don't have 299 pounds to lose, but I'm going to set a goal. So I call up Bob Bodine and I say, you know what, Bob, you got me all fired up. I'm going to lose 199 pounds and you're going to be my agent. And that's what I did. And the fact is that in all due respect, when I got cancer, like we're talking about, you got cancer in 2003, right, Coach? I think it was. Okay. So my dad died of pancreatic cancer. And, you know, I remember, I'm 68 now. I remember when I was 56, that's when my dad died. I thought, am I going to live? I didn't know, you live in fear. I saw Lawrence Taylor yesterday walking. Here's the greatest Superman guy of all time, right? And he's walking in a video, and he's talking about, hey, I'm afraid to die. We all have some type of fear. And I was afraid to die. I wanted to die, because I just, some things that happened in my career, and it was tough. But you know what? I found a way, and I got into this concept of positive mindset. And I said, all right, motivation. I need to be motivated. So I went to Orange Theory and I got motivated. Then I started learning accountability, which was related to, nutrition. And then after I'd done it for a while, it was sustainability. And that equals, what do we talk about? I hate the D word. I don't like that word. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle success. So I'm in this good space. Things are positive. And then I get cancer. Oh my God, right? I went through 21 months of side effects. I went to Mayo. Mayo says, oh, most people with prostate, we do 30 treatments. You're so healthy, because I fixed myself. Oh, we're going to do 5 treatments. And they really doubled up on my rate on my treatments. And it just messed me up really bad. I mean, I just went to Paris. I mentioned that, to see our son. I couldn't travel because he's been there for 3 years because the side effects were, I was wearing a diaper. I mean, it's who I was. Okay, I'm not that now. But you know what? Along the way, on August 2nd this year, I'm going to celebrate 10 years of sudden cardiac death survival. On August 2nd, I'm going to celebrate 300 classes at Orange Theory Fitness over 11 years. That means consistency. So what do I tell people in this book? I tell people life is not about perfection. It's about showing up and being consistent. And that's what my model is based on. And so in closing, what did I add to the book that really kind of walked me through the journey? Now, this is where Kelley gets on my butt a little bit. And he says, don't read anything. Just be Neal, right? Okay, so I'm trying. But anyway, the 7 principles that saved my life that could change yours. And if you're a company, I say that can transform your workplace. Okay, so the first one is embrace a lifestyle reimagination. I did that. Everybody in this call, everybody in this room, I don't care what your business is, whether you're a caregiver like Michelle or like what Coach Fee's doing, giving back to his community, from being rear-ended by a drunk driver like me. Okay. By the way, Coach, I was rear-ended. I was at a light on US 1 in Miami. I was in a Dodge Ram truck. I just returned my U-Haul. I was doing a major wellness event, and I got rammed by a Ram. The guy that was driving a Ram truck. So kind of ironic. Okay. Next, move your body every day. I do that. Okay. And that's where that consistency comes in. Third, fuel your body with the right foods. I wasn't doing it. I basically, food was the drug of choice for me. Okay. Surround yourself with the right people. The U8 University, you've done that. You got the right people coming around you, and that's how you could show that emotion for that young person that was a leader in Watts. That's what it's about, because you care. They feel you, right? That's what it's about, man. And train your mind to win. Train your mind to win.
Yeah.
Trust that God is not done with you. Jeremiah 29:11. Yeah. Every one of my 7 principles. And one of them I missed to say is, I'll come right back, set goals that scare you. Sometimes we do things and we think, oh, no. Do you think this is easy to wake up and to go to Orange Theory Fitness at 7:30 in the morning, and do the things that we all have to do? Heck no. But you know what? It's a model where whether it's one person or not. And by the way, when I saw that LT video last night, Kelley, you know what I did? I wrote him a letter. He may not see it. And what we've talked about recently, I did a video because Jelly Roll has lost all this weight, right? And guess what? he may not like what I did, which is through the song Winning Streak, because that's what was my professional responsibility. I did in-game entertainment and corporate sales for teams. But at the end of the day, he, like us, whether it's 10 people, one person, doesn't matter. We can create a positive mindset that you can get it done. And I'll close with this, okay? It starts with your attitude, and attitude's like a flat tire. If you don't fix it, you ain't going very far. I had a flat tire. I fixed it. Now's your turn.
So good. Neal, that's why I love you. See what happens when you just spit off the dome?
I get it.
You forgot one thing though. While going through chemo and cancer, you were still teaching at Boston College. I would call you, you were like, I just got my treatments, but I gotta teach this class. And you never gave up and your attitude was always positive. So I love you, brother. You're an inspiration to me and everybody else, bro.
Well, I appreciate that. I will say this to you, that you got to learn to work within yourself. You know, that's this thing. It was interesting. I train hard, because I listen to all these athletes. It's intimidating in a sense, because I promoted you. That's what my job was. But, when you're in front, there were 52,000 runners in Paris, France. And I come around the corner, and these are memories. And, the guy that Coach V, I think you say you played with the Red Sox. What's their favorite song? Sweet Caroline, right? So we're coming around the corner in our little corral, because they did it in like groups of 500, whatever it was. And what did they play? Sweet Caroline. All right. Oh, it just made me feel so great. And we're to the right is the Eiffel Tower. And we're running, and we ran through the tunnel where Princess Di was unfortunately killed. And we got to see all the attractions. But you know what? That was the second hardest race. I've done 43 that I've done, but it was the funnest because of the atmosphere, and you get invigorated. So find that why, find that what, and let this champion's mindset take over, because like we said early in the beginning of this talk, all right, you can be a champion of choice or a victim of circumstance.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. Anybody got anything they want to say before we get out of here? I don't want to cut anybody off, but just make it quick. If you want to share socials or something you forgot, go ahead. Or anybody that's listening, any feedback, anything before we get out of here. We got 3 minutes.
I would love it. We can all connect online on social media. My handle is Eunice Smith-Clarke, EUNICE, Smith, Clarke with an E, CLARKE. And again, I would love for Jermaine Jones and I, to have an opportunity to interview each and every one of you on our wellness mental health podcast.
Well, that'd be
my love to all of you.
Much love.
Thank you, Miss Eunice. Hey, look, Kelley, could you put it all on this chat down here so we can do that?
What's that?
The everybody's socials and all that type of stuff. Could you put
I'll
it?
send it out. That way I ain't
all
got
right, perfect.
I'll make sure everybody gets
it. I want to connect. I would love to connect.
I'm going to try to make this quick. But Adrian,
yes, sir.
I'm going to call you and tell you this. So I was in Miami doing some charity events. That's what I ended up doing later. And make a long story short, I hear this story about how Bobby Bonilla got cut, right? Or he got injured. And one of my friends got to tell, what's his name? Come on now, your first baseman, Pauls, that he made the team. Like he went to a tryout in Tropicana in Trop Field, and the Rays didn't sign him.
Right.
The Rays didn't sign him, and so so your story about your ACL and your unbelievable. So kudos to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Believe me, I'm gonna be looking for you too. Everybody on this call, man, I'm gonna be calling y'all. So if y'all see an 850. Just be ready. It's me, for real.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm from Long Beach. I'm on 562, so I'm good.
Yes, sir. I got you.
And we have to keep holding each other up.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Thank y'all.
It was an honor. It was a true honor.
All right.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelley.
Thank you, Kelley.
Everybody,
Thank you,
take care. This is awesome.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.